some point we do. I'm going to finish the question after we get done with this one.
Oh, was she looking at the thing?
You know that part yet? And devices that riders use. To convey a message or to create imagery. To convey a message or to create imagery. Okay, these tools are called figures of speech and literary devices. I'm pretty sure Ms. Hobson's gone over some of them maybe before when we were reviewing Romeo and Juliet. And I'm going to touch on some that she has already touched on and then introduce some new ones to you. Who has time for this? Anybody? No?
No.
Raise your hand calmly and quietly if you're familiar with any of the words on this list. Awesome. Okay. Can anybody tell me what a simile is? Comparison using like or as. We're going to take notes on these. You don't have to copy it down word for word, just what you think you'd be able to use. If I were to maybe possibly give you an assignment at the end of this presentation. What about a metaphor? What about foreshadowing? You need to know these. No, I'm going to give you another list. It'll make it easy for you. You can write it down if you want to. All the terms are going to be listed. You need to know these not just because it helps you in your reading, but because it's going to be on SAT, HSAT, ACD, and your ASVAB. And these are all tests that you're probably going to come into contact with before you graduate high school. So this is super duper important. Once again, you do not have to copy this down word for word. You can put it into your own words, make it simple for yourself. Okay. A hyperbole is a bold and deliberate overstatement. So to put that more simply, can anybody put it into your own words for me? An exaggeration, maybe? Can anybody give me an example? What if you were talking to somebody and they were telling you about a fishing trip that they were on? And they said, right, they caught 1,000,000 fish, or maybe the fish that they caught, right, the fish was bigger than a shark. You're not going to take that literally because it's an exaggeration or a hyperbole. Right, and we've gone over simile, just comparing two things using like or as, and see if I can give you an example of that. This is a really easy one. Hi is a kite. It's not necessarily classroom appropriate, but I'll take it. Does anybody have another one? Being like a truck. Have you come across one in your readings that you do at the beginning of class? No, never? One time? Chances are, if you're reading a book or even an academic essay, or maybe even a short story, you're going to come across a simile or a metaphor. All right, metaphor is the exact same thing, only you're not going to use like or as. So if you wanted to take your simile that you use, which is big as a truck, what would you do to make it into a metaphor?
He is a truck.
You're a big
So
truck.
is he. Or he is a truck.
What were you comparing to a truck?
I would have to prove, I just say, if I can show him.
You would say the subject that you were comparing to a truck with like or as is a truck.
Oh, that's my lead.
Yeah. That would be bullying though, that's not good.
Always tell me that.
Okay. Personification is when you give distinctive human characteristics to something that isn't living. So I could say that the leaves were dancing in the wind, or that the pen danced across the page. Does anybody have one that's different? Raise your hand if you have one. You guys are not cooperating with each other. The boat ran across the water.
Maddie said it's running past
All right, an alliteration is a repetition of consonant sounds. Who knows what a consonant is? What is it not?
Not a vowel.
Right. Okay, so can somebody give me an example of alliteration? I'm going to ask you this for everyone, so you might as well go ahead.
No, that's not wrong.
Peter Pan.
Yeah, I know. Wrong.
How much was your
Yeah, take it.
I want to say it, but
That's a really common one. Peter Piper picked a pack of cookies.
Oh, this was a little shit.
It's almost like a tongue twister. Alliteration is going to be used more so in poetry than it is in short stories and novels. Just because it's aesthetic, it's pleasing to the ear to hear it. And then asinus is a repetition of vowels, which is the exact same thing, only you're not using consonants. And then what did you say the other one was?
How?
How?
Nice.
oh my.
All right, which one are you having trouble copying down if you haven't gotten all
I was getting the pages.
Does anybody have a question about any of these? Anything that confuses you? Okay, tell me when I can go to the next one. This is going to be useful on the end when you have an activity that's graded, so I will make sure that's
So,
all. You're going to use it.
This house, you got to go down the road. You better go get it after you have lunch.
I can make a band. All right, who knows what an epiphany is?
Oh, you say.
What about something that's different from what's up here?
It's like,
That's
Like you change or something.
Something changes in you? So it's inward. So are any of the characters in your book currently having an epiphany? Read the
so
book.
it's something changed.
Yeah, it is.
It's when you have a realization. You suddenly have an idea that you've never thought of before that changes the way that you think.
That's the word.
All right, And then a pun is a play on words that uses similarity in sound between two words with distinctly different meanings. This one's a little confusing, but you're gonna see some examples in a minute that'll make it a little bit clearer. That's why I'm saying don't copy this down word for word, because it's gonna get easier as it goes. All right, and then a symbol is something used to represent an idea or concept. This is a super easy one. This is in almost everything that you're gonna read. And then foreshadowing, we've already talked about. It's something that's gonna give you hints as to what's gonna happen
In the future.
and what you're reading.
So we have to write it down, so I know what it is. So we have to write it down, so I know what it is.
If you already know what it is, don't write it down,
Okay, so much.
unless you just want to. All right, an expression that has a meaning that differs from its literal one is an idiom. Does anybody know what this is? An idiom? You have an example?
Because it's saying something completely opposite.
Right. All right, and then the oxymoron is the association of two terms that seem to contradict each other, like jumbo shrimp. Okay, imagery is not necessarily going to fit in with the rest of these, because imagery is what all of these literary devices is trying to get across to you while you're reading. It's language that brings to mind sensory impressions. So when you see these things while you're reading, it makes what you're reading more vivid to you. It makes you able to visualize it better, or it makes it make sense to you more. And then allusion is a reference within a literary work to a historical or literary work. Allusions are hard to catch on to unless you know what it's alluding to. But who can name one book that something it would allude to constantly? It's usually classics like the Odyssey, or there's a lot of biblical allusions in your novels that you might not recognize. Stuff that you've read before is probably going to show up in stuff that you're reading currently, especially if the stuff that you've read before is classical literature. All right, we're not going to watch this video. I'll try to do something for you. I'm sorry if you like Will Ferrell and I'm just really your whole day about teaching you that way.
A plug